Yes, sir. What's your name, by the way?
Dave,
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
living the dream. Yeah.
I can tell.
Really? Wow. Um, the Bible talks about God in ways that are difficult for us good Christians to believe sometimes, and people supposedly bargaining with God, and also God making mistakes. You know, God created Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve sinned, and he let that go for a while, and then he destroyed the world and started again. Gee, I guess I made a mistake. I'm going to have to start over. So Noah goes along for a while, and things are going, but gosh, it didn't seem like it was what I had planned, so I'm going to get Abraham, and I'm going to make a new covenant, and we're going to start again. And unfortunately, those wonderful Israelites just couldn't cut it. So we got a new dude that came down from heaven to be heaven on earth. And we got Jesus. You know, how many mistakes can God make before he gets it right? And how many times can we bargain with God, Abraham, Moses, before he just assumes that he doesn't have any idea what he's doing?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent insight to when you read the scriptures. A lot of times you're reading it and it is written from an observational perspective. The point you were talking about originally was Noah, just coming up to Noah, God says he grieved what had happened to mankind, and he regretted that he had ever created him. And you go, how could God, I mean, this guy's all-knowing. You know, what's the deal with that? Why would you regret, okay? Well, the Bible's written from an observational perspective. It's a story. It's not written from a philosophical, highbrow kind of position. It's written from the average person's position. And you can regret something even though you know it's going to happen. Like, for example, I regret some of the things that my kids have done. And I knew they were going to do them, right? As soon as we had kids, right? My parents regret some of the things I've done. Right? You know when you have kids, there's going to be heartbreak somewhere. Just going to happen. Why? Because we're fallen. But that doesn't mean I wish I had never created them or that I somehow made a mistake. Probably one of the best illustrations of this is in Numbers, I want to say it is, maybe 33, 32, where Moses goes to God because God says, I'm wiping these Israelites out. That's it. I've had it. Right? And Moses goes to him and pleads with him and says, oh, please don't. And suddenly, somehow Moses changes the mind of the all-knowing being, right? As if Moses gave God some new information to consider and go, you know, right, I shouldn't wipe him out, right? And you go, wait a minute, how can that be? He's an all-knowing being. What's Moses counseling God about? Well, again, it's written from an observational perspective. God always knew Moses would come and pray and plead. God always knew he would relent. What's changed is not God. What's changed is Moses. In fact, an illustration. Let's suppose you're riding your bike this way, and you're riding into the wind, and you say the wind is against you. And then you ride a little ways, and you turn around, and now you're riding this way, and you say the wind is with you. Who changed, you or the wind? Yeah, you changed. Well, the same thing is true with God. If you're going against God, you're going to say God's against you. If you're going with God, you're going to say God's with you. But God hasn't changed, you've changed. And so there's a lot in the Bible that's written from an observational perspective. In fact, this happens with sunrise, sunset, right? Bible talks about the sun rising and the sun setting. We know that's not really the case, right? The sun's stationary. We're moving around it. But you know what? We still do that today in 2017. If you go home tonight, you turn on the news tonight at 11 and you watch the weatherman, he's going to say, sunrise tomorrow, 7:03. He's not going to say earth rotation will become apparent at 7:03, right? We use observational language today in our technically precise culture. We do the same thing. So it's a good question, and I think the answer really is it's written from an observational perspective.